Dr. Shafer, thank you so much for joining us here on Health Connection.
You're
again.
very welcome.
Always a pleasure to see you. It's the new year, and like we all do every new year, we make resolutions and we resolve that we're going to get healthier. And then the end of the year comes and we're pretty much the way we were when we started the year. And so we're going to talk about making this year different with respect to getting healthy for the new year. The number one thing we all seem to want to do as the new year rolls around is lose weight. Why do so few of us succeed?
Now, if we knew the exact answer to that question, we would probably be more successful, but I can think of a few reasons why we may have trouble. One of them is that the part of the brain that controls our rational thought lives in the front part, is the more recently evolved part of the brain, and it is very easily overruled by that primitive survival part of the brain, which has to do with survival of the species, so eating, sex, pleasure. So we rationally think that we need to eat less or do things that will help us to lose weight, but it's easily overruled by the more primitive part of the brain. And secondly, we tend to pick unrealistic, rather vague goals. And in fact, many of us get to the point where we just quit making resolutions because we are so unsuccessful in meeting them. But if we're able to break these goals into more discrete targets that are more easily achievable, so we can build, so success is more often built on success. We've heard success is built on failure, but we're actually more effective when we can make success being built on success, where we can have small improvements that can feed on these goals to make larger improvements over the long haul.
All right. Weight loss programs. You can't go through a commercial set on television almost without seeing commercials for weight loss programs. They advertise all the time. Is there any one weight loss program that you've seen work better for your patients than others, or should we be paying for weight loss programs at all?
Well, when you see 50 different solutions to a problem, it's a good indication that there is not one best solution to the problem. 50 different diets means that none of them are really the best, or that would have been apparent by now. There are a couple, though, that have seemed to risen to the top in my practice. One of them is Weight Watchers, which statistically is the most successful long-term weight loss program in the country and perhaps even internationally. It's simple, people eat real food, it's relatively inexpensive. And then the Atkins, the low-carb diet, which has been scientifically shown to be safe as well as effective as any of the other diets out there. Perhaps most importantly is finding a program that a person is enthusiastic about and that they can stick with. So it doesn't necessarily have to be something that is the most nutritionally sound or has the best track record, but if an individual can find a program that has structure that they can adhere to and that they're enthusiastic about, they're more likely to adhere to it. But it has to be predicated on a firm desire to lose weight in the first place. So if there's not that commitment up front, then the best weight loss plan in the world will not be successful.
Still on the subject of food, we hear about the food pyramid. It's online, it's free, it's widely disseminated. You can find it with a simple search. What are your thoughts on the food pyramid?
Well, it hasn't been very successful in helping the people lose weight, and in fact it has been more or less phased out and replaced by something called My Plates, which is more visual. It's just simply the concept. It's a picture of a plate and divided into fourths, into meat, grains, fruits, and vegetables, and gives more of a visual analysis of how we're supposed to divide up our food. But none of those seem to be terribly effective, at least as far as helping the masses to control their weight. It does have some good nutritional advice, but it neither the old food pyramid or the My Plates has been very effective. It's a government plan to try to make nutrition simple for the masses and it hasn't really been an outstanding success.
We know about people who lose weight and then they regain the weight. And sometimes they even go past where they started before they lost the weight. What's the key to keeping weight off once you've lost it?
The one consistent key in most of the studies is exercise. Exercise, and there are a couple of major myths about exercise. One is that exercise is important for weight loss. It's not. But exercise is important for helping people keep weight off. The reason exercise isn't effective for losing weight is that to lose a pound of fat, you have to actually walk 35 miles. There's 3,500 calories in a pound of fat. 35 miles is equal to 3,500 calories. When you give those statistics to people, they say, well, you know, it's going to take a lot of exercise to lose any weight, and that's true.
So about 100 calories a mile?
100 calories per mile.
All right.
So if you walk a mile a day, then you can lose maybe a pound a month with that strategy. Now, if you take the long term over years, then a pound a month is 30 pounds in 3 years, and that's effective. But most people want something more short term. But studies show that people that do lose weight, the main difference between those that lose weight and keep it off and those that don't keep it off are those that exercise. Their exercise during the weight loss plan may not have contributed a lot of calories to burning up their fat, but when they continue the exercise afterwards, it seems to help prevent weight regain. That's the major importance of exercise, is preventing weight regain.
Well, let's say we have climbed this steep mountain and we have succeeded and we have lost weight. What are the benefits to our bodies when we get to an ideal weight and keep it there?
Well, they're almost innumerable. You live longer. It prevents heart attacks, strokes. It prevents or helps minimize the effects of diabetes. It decreases the number of medicines that we take. But none of those particular arguments actually tend to affect my patient's decision to lose weight, other than these two. First, weight loss makes people look better. That's what people really care about, and it helps them feel better. These other items about living longer and preventing disease are important, but they are not the things that motivate people to lose weight. It's looking better and feeling better, which is okay. Whatever it takes to motivate people to lose weight, the health benefits will follow.
Let's come back to exercise for a second. Physicians to a person recommend weight loss and exercise. It's not enough just to lose the weight. Why is exercise so important beyond the fact that it helps keep the weight off?
Well, I mean, and that's certainly a major attribute. One problem with just losing weight without exercise is that when we restrict our calories, we not only lose fat, we lose protein, we lose muscle mass. If you exercise at the same time that you're losing weight, it'll help preserve muscle mass. The big problem with yo-yo dieting, where you lose weight, gain, lose and gain, is that every time you lose weight, you lose protein as well as fat. When you gain weight, you're gaining mostly fat. So at the end of these cycles, you end up with a lot less muscle mass than when you started. So you may be worse off than when you started. So exercise helps to maintain muscle mass, protein mass, and that helps to maintain fitness. It decreases our chances of falling. It just helps us feel better.
Here at the start of the new year, among the things we resolve to do is give up our bad habits. That's one of the beyond weight loss. We resolve we're going to give up our bad habits. We've learned in a study recently published by UT Health Northeast that this part of the world we have more smokers per capita than just about any other place in Texas and a lot of places in the country. What are some effective ways to give up tobacco use?
Well, first, commitment to give it up, and once you have that commitment, some of the more effective tools are nicotine replacement therapy and then support groups. There are a number of classes, in fact, we offer them here at UT Health Northeast, free classes that provide instruction on smoking cessation and also peer support, which is very helpful, realizing other people have the same problem and finding out what works for them. Nicotine replacement, whether it's patches, gum, or other forms, is helpful. I'm not talking about e-cigarettes. That's really another category, but nicotine replacement can be helpful in transitioning people from tobacco to being tobacco-free.
Aside from what you just mentioned, are there any other resources available for quitting smoking?
Well, the American Lung Association has a variety of resources, American Heart Association. There are a number of online resources. There are some other medications other than nicotine replacement, which are useful for some individuals. These are available by prescription, and any primary care physician can provide those.
Making New Year's resolutions is one thing, as we've said, but keeping them is another. Any recommendations you have on how we can stick to our resolutions to be healthier?
Trying to structure our resolutions so that we're more likely, where it's more difficult to fail, where it's easier to succeed than it is to fail. Let me give you a very simple example. Has to do with avoiding all or none sort of thinking. If I were to say that one of my resolutions was to never, always take the stairs instead of the elevators. And so the first time I take the elevator, I've really messed up my resolution. I've really failed. But if my resolution is to take the stairs 3 times a week, then if I take the elevator the first time, I really haven't failed that particular resolution. I still have the rest of the week to meet that commitment. So failure in that one area, using the elevator, it doesn't destroy my goal for the whole week. In fact, I can make it up in the last half of the week. And once I achieve the 3 times a week, then I can extend that 4 times a week, 5 times a week. And usually what we find is that when people succeed in small goals, they actually will go ahead and increase what they're doing, even without having to establish another formal goal. So a modest goal that's more easily achievable without the all or nothing sort of thinking helps us to meet goals and that fit into our larger goal of, say weight loss. So breaking the weight loss into different goals like eating, exercise, shopping, doing things with friends. So breaking it down into the individual components.
Doctor, it is always a pleasure, and we always learn something. Thank you.
You're very welcome.